What happens when artificial intelligence steps into a deeply traditional courtroom? Welcome to today's Explainer. Our core mission for this deep dive is to explore the first-hand observation records of Tommy Yoshida, also known as Yoshida Tsutomu. We're going to be looking closely at his incredibly detailed documentation of navigating the Japanese court system as an ordinary citizen, all while using artificial intelligence. Let's jump right in. So before we get too deep, we need to set a strict ground rule based on Yoshida's own notes. We are not here to evaluate AI, and we're definitely not here to reach any definitive conclusions. Instead, our whole goal today is to observe his unfinished thoughts and the pending questions that pop up during this massive technological transition. It's really about deepening our contemplation on what access to justice looks like in a society that is learning to coexist with AI. One of the most interesting things about his original text is that even slightly unnatural phrasing is intentionally left totally uncorrected. Why do that? Well, leaving those quirks intact actually helps us observe exactly how human judgment interacts with both language and technology in this shifting landscape. It's like leaving the footprints visible so we can trace the exact path where human thought and machine output actually meet in real time. Okay, moving on to Section 1, Assumptions about the Courtroom. We naturally contrast the traditional expectation, standing before a judge face-to-face in a heavy, physical courtroom, with Yoshida's actual modern reality. Instead of that formal, cinematic trial vibe, his preparatory proceedings were conducted entirely via telephone conference. It completely flips the traditional image of the court right on its head, swapping heavy wooden doors for a digital connection. Which brings us to Section 2, Phone Conferences and Strict Rules. So here's the logistical reality of his self-represented or pro se litigation. Yoshida actually lives down in Kagawa Prefecture, but his case was assigned to the Tokyo Family Court. That massive physical distance totally necessitated a phone conference. But as you'll see, this was absolutely not your standard casual Zoom call from the living room. Yoshida was honestly pretty surprised to discover the highly strict rules governing this remote hearing. We're talking entirely non-public proceedings. Absolutely no family, friends, or advisors are allowed to be present in the room with you. Recording is strictly prohibited, and you must answer the phone personally. It really goes to show that the strict, institutional boundaries of the court are drawn rigidly around you, no matter how many hundreds of miles away you're calling from. Section 3, Balancing Distance and Fairness. Now, whether you're reading the Japan edition or the international edition of his records, the exact same core pillars are universally emphasized across the board. Fairness, confidentiality, and due process are fiercely protected. The technology might change how the hearing happens, but these foundational principles, they don't budge an inch. By stepping into the system as an ordinary citizen, Yoshida hit on this really profound realization. The system is driven not only by laws, but it's supported by a ton of practical, everyday operations. Justice isn't just about the heavy law books. It's maintained by the meticulous, strict execution of these operational rules on a daily basis. All right, Section 4, Boundary, AI, and Professionals. It's absolutely crucial to remember that Yoshida is not a lawyer. He's using AI to research legal procedures and draft documents, but he makes it super clear that he's doing this to observe. He's not out to criticize the courts, and he's not blindly promoting self-representation. He is simply acting as an observer, testing the friction inside the system. And this naturally frames his first major pending inquiry. Just how far can an ordinary citizen proceed with the support of AI? It's a huge question. Can someone really navigate the deep complexities of the legal maze relying solely on artificial intelligence? Which immediately triggers the next vital boundary question. At what exact point does professional legal representation become absolutely necessary? Where's that hard line where an AI's text generation stops being enough and true human legal wisdom has to step in? Finally, Section 5, Justice in an AI Society. Yoshida's singular case study in the Tokyo Family Court actually acts as a microcosm for some incredibly wide societal discussions. We're talking about AI in our daily lives, the whole concept of digital justice, our access to courts, and really, the ultimate future of our legal systems and the rule of law itself. So, keeping with the spirit of Yoshida's records for this explainer, we aren't going to force a neat little conclusion here. Instead, I want to leave you with this. How does our access to justice evolve when citizens and AI coexist within these deeply traditional systems? It's an unfinished thought, and it's something we're all going to have to keep exploring. Thanks for diving into this with me today.